Hi, I'm Jeff Haynes, editor at Tech Bargains, and today we're bringing you a video review of the BlackBerry PlayBook. Steve Jobs famously proclaimed last year that 7-inch tablets were dead on arrival because the devices in its class were too big and too expensive to be considered a smartphone, but too small and too underpowered to be an iPad competitor. The BlackBerry PlayBook clearly refutes this claim with its 7-inch form factor and its features that can definitely compete with Apple's popular tablet. Much like the iPad, RIM's PlayBook comes in 16, 32, or 64 GB versions, but most of the similarities end there. The device features a 7-inch capacitive touchscreen display with a native resolution of 1024 by 600, and it's powered by the QNX operating system on a 1 GHz dual-core TI OMAP 4430 processor with 1 GB of RAM to handle web browsing, apps, and other functions. It's also surprisingly portable at 7.6 inches wide, 5.1 inches high, and only 0.4 inches deep. The PlayBook is definitely no slouch in the photo arena either, as it comes with a 5 megapixel rear-facing camera for taking shots and a 3 megapixel front-facing camera. Clearly, any video conferencing that you do with this device will look excellent. Rounding out the specs are Bluetooth 2.1 support, Flash 10.1 support, and full Wi-Fi support. Now let's face it, there will be some people that dismiss the PlayBook outright because of its diminutive size. These people are actually missing out, because the PlayBook is very nicely made and felt just right in our hands. In fact, we like that we didn't have to squint to read web pages because of the larger web size. Similarly, we like that there was lots of space to watch movies or play games compared to what you typically see on a smartphone. But we were definitely impressed by the size and the weight of the PlayBook, which was much easier to carry around than our iPads. Plus, since it weighs less than a pound, we can use it with one hand for long periods of time without our hands cramping up, and the soft rubberized back improved our grip on the device. Once you start using the PlayBook, however, you can't help but be captivated by the machine and what it offers. Simply put, this tablet is a vastly superior multitasker than the iPad could ever be. The PlayBook keeps apps running as you move through the OS instead of stopping an app cold and placing it in memory. As a result, you'll find an app bar placed directly above the icons on the home screen that lets you scroll through currently running programs without interrupting their processes. It's smooth and seamless, and many more tablets should strive to emulate this functionality. Another bonus is the navigation of the PlayBook, which is designed to be incredibly intuitive. The tablet doesn't host a home button like machines from its competitors. Instead, you rely on the touch-sensitive screen to fully control the tablet. For instance, to access app menus on the home page, you simply place your finger on the bottom of the screen and you swipe upwards. If you have an app open at the time, it minimizes that to a thumbnail, while swiping down from the top lets you access things like menu options or app settings. While the PlayBook comes with a number of tutorials to help you learn how to control the device, it only takes a few minutes before you're comfortably using the tablet. We also found some nice performance elements with the PlayBook that made it stand out from other tablets on the market. For one thing, we really liked the native Flash 10.1 support, which let us surf the web without being concerned that content wouldn't load or play on the device. That meant that we could play Flash-based games on Congregate or other sites without any problems. We also found that the QNX operating system and dual-core processor worked well together to provide an incredibly smooth performance for the device. Whether it was moving through menus, loading apps, or browsing the web, we found the performance to be on par with many current generation tablets, and we didn't run into any lag moving through menus or stuttering during gameplay. In fact, we found that the PlayBook surpassed the iPad 2 on some of our speed tests, which was excellent. Unfortunately, we did have some problems with the PlayBook that affected our experience with the tablet. For one thing, there's no microSD card slot, so the storage option you select when you walk out of the store is exactly what you're stuck with as long as you own the device. You're paying $4.99, $5.99, or $6.99 for a 16, 32, or 64 GB version respectively, but that comes with a caveat, because you lose 4 GB to the OS and pre-installed apps. Along with the storage issues comes the added disadvantage of a ridiculously long cold boot. We'll show the slow speed by starting the system up so you get a sense of what's happening during a boot up, but it's incredibly lengthy and it will annoy any user, even the most patient ones. We clocked the startup to be around 71 seconds or more, which was easily 3 times that of the iPad 2. We even found that our desktop machines loaded faster than the PlayBook, which was somewhat surprising given how fast the device runs when it's turned on. Fortunately, you really shouldn't need to turn it completely off very often. In fact, you can easily put it into sleep mode and get around this problem. We also weren't sold on the placement of the Playbook's buttons. RIM clearly designed the Playbook to be held in landscape mode, which helps when you're browsing web pages or operating the front-facing camera. But it manages to place the volume, play-pause buttons, and power button of the tablet out of reach during operation. This was a questionable design choice on RIM's part. Then again, there are two other questionable design elements that significantly limit the Playbook. The first is the lack of a calendar, contacts, or native email client for the tablet. These are three basic functions that tablets and smartphones are expected to have, and for a device that's clearly aimed at business users, this is particularly unforgivable. The Playbook does have webmail icons on the desktop that allows you to launch Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, or AOL Mail, but these are browser shortcuts instead of actual clients. Now, if you happen to own a BlackBerry phone, you can at least use the BlackBerry Bridge function to access your email, calendars, BlackBerry Messenger, and other features from your phone. But let's face it, this shouldn't be the only way that you can access these basic functions. The other feature that limits the Playbook is the extremely small number of apps for the device. Given RIM's decision to allow Android Marketplace apps on its devices, we're hoping to see more tablet-specific apps in RIM's app world this summer. However, right now, there's an extremely limited number of apps for the system, and there are even pretty obvious omissions, like Pandora not being available. We really like the BlackBerry Playbook, and we think that Steve Jobs is simply wrong when he said that 7-inch tablets have no place in the market. The BlackBerry Playbook is very portable, easy to use, and it surpasses the iPad 2 in a number of categories, including speed, multitasking, and the inclusion of Flash. Unfortunately, the device is missing a large number of standard features, and it's extremely hampered by its limited selection of apps, which restricts its promise. Now, these problems can be fixed in the future, and it would result in the Playbook getting a higher score, but at its present state, we decided to give the BlackBerry Playbook a 3.5 out of 5. For more reviews on the latest products, as well as coupons and deals on devices like the BlackBerry Playbook, be sure to check out techbargains.com.